we are recording. Cheers. What's up, C?
Yo, what up, man? Man. I know there's a lot of information, so
Yeah, man, we got a
it'll
lot
probably
to
take
catch
a
up.
lot longer to go over everything, but we just gotta hop into it, man. And it's like, dude, you straight fishing the freaking Bassmaster Opens, bro. Like,
It's crazy.
crazy, man.
So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my personal YouTube channel here, and we try to go live for you guys to try to get some real time interaction. But unfortunately, I'm in the sticks, or up in the mountains of northeast Georgia, and internet connectivity is a struggle, to say the least. So we're gonna record this and upload it for you guys to watch. Regardless, I wanted to catch up with my man Carnell Lee here. You guys might follow him on the gram under Dimension. Obviously, he's been one of my oldest boys that I've been fishing with since I was, 12 or 13 years old. So from back in the day, back in the hood, man. So he's seen it all. And I've been meaning to catch up with you, Carnell. It's been at least a couple weeks, if not a few. I've got one Bassmaster Open under my belt down in Florida. This Douglas Lake event is event number 2 of the Southern Division. So those of you guys that are not familiar with the Bassmaster Open formats, there's 3 different divisions. There's the Southerns, there's Centrals, and then there's the Northern. So there's 9 events total, and there are guys fishing their ass off with everything on the line. I mean, they've risked it all.
But how many guys are fishing all 9, though?
From what I understand, I think usually it's like 40. And
do you think fishing all 9 events, or do you think there's just guys that are just kind of concentrating on, like, the one region?
Yeah, most guys are limited to one region just because, like, man, who has time and the resources to be able to do all 9? Very few guys. So most of the guys.
That's a lot of experience.
Oh man, if you're talking just entry fees, like, bro, I put up $16,200 just to go fishing 9 times. Like, what? So it's definitely a big undertaking, and big shout out to all the competitors. These guys are literally chasing their dreams. Most of these guys want to make it to the elites, and this is how you do it, right? So out of 225 anglers in the field, they only accept the top 4 finishers in points at the end of the 3 events to go to the elites every year. So, dude, it's a very slim window. It's not easy, man. Like, and now you got the whole like dynamic of guys that used to be in bass that left, but now want to come back. So I'm fishing against hammers, bro.
Oh, for sure. I've been seeing the lineup and stuff.
Yeah, man. Some legends. Like some OGs.
Oh, straight up.
Like real OGs.
Just like.
Plus all the new young guns.
Yeah.
And then you got the local dudes at cherry pick events because this is in their backyard and they feel like they can make some noise. So I've heard this from multiple guys that this is arguably the toughest opens field to date. So it's wild, man, and it's cool. It's obviously been a long time since I've competed, in any like format.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You didn't come back and like start doing like small local circuits first.
No,
you just
man. I did my time back in the day.
Bro.
Yeah, I'm up in here taking game shots.
You didn't try to go get your feet. Yep. You didn't try to get your feet and hands wet, bro. You just like, I'm going whole body. Like,
here's the thing. It's been like a straight muscle memory kind of experience. Like the culling, the decision making, the time management. Like, and it's at a point now in my life where it's been fun. Like, I've had more fun than I really anticipated I'd have doing this. Even waking up in the morning, like the night of competition after day 1, going to day 2, after my experience, like, bro, I tried to go to bed early at 10 o'clock, and I woke up at like 2 a.m. to have to go piss, and I was just too pumped up. I was too hyped up.
Yeah, to go back to sleep.
Yeah, because I was on something, man. And it's crazy. I didn't know anything about Douglas Lake, right? So this is the second of 3 events in the Southern Division. And this lake is in East Tennessee. And I heard one thing from one local kid that was telling me, "Oh, Douglas is a mud hole. Like, it's gonna suck." And we've been getting a ton of rain in this part of the country, so like all these lakes are overflowing. We had Smith Lake, which was supposed to be the first Central Division Open, postponed because the water was like 15 feet above full pool. So I was like, man, this lake's gonna be tough. It's either gonna be super full and muddy. Bro, I get out there and practice with Riley before official practice, and dude, it reminds me of like California. It's rocky, it's got pine trees, it's got deep water, bluff walls, clear water. I mean, 6 to 12, 15-foot visibility in places.
Wow. Yeah, that's unheard of. In Tennessee?
And I was like, oh, okay, I could do this. And I spent the first couple days just looking for fish and looking for bites and just trying to get a pulse of what was going on in this fishery. And we spent like the first morning just idling around one of the big creek arms. Like, I mean, the creek arm is bigger than any of our lakes at home. And,
I know, right?
poor Riley sitting there in the passenger seat. I thought we were going fishing, and I'm like on the big motor, literally just driving through the back of all these cuts, looking for bait on the electronics, looking for fish, just looking and trying to eliminate water. And eventually, we stop and make some casts when I mark some stuff, and ended up catching some small bass in and around some bait. And for the next 2 days, I focused on finding the bait, finding fish, and it was almost all largemouth around it, a couple smallmouth. And this place is interesting. You can keep largemouth in spots 12 inches or bigger, but smallies this time of year have to be 15 or bigger.
Plus, yeah. Dang.
So I went looking for this, looking for that, and when Dave showed up, and we actually got into official practice on Monday, we spent that whole day. I found a whole new section in the lake, found a ton of bait, more so than I found anywhere else. And we waxed a pretty good bag, like nice 2 to 3.5 pound fish on jerk baits and some topwater fish mixed in. And from what people were telling us, like 12 to 15 pounds would be doing you really good on this lake, especially come game time. Like it's held true now through 2 events. The fishing progressively gets tougher and tougher and tougher. Combination of changing conditions, cold fronts, raising water, dropping water, but most of all, fishing pressure. You got 225 dudes running around scrambling, trying to figure out how to do this. And after spending a day and a half finding a pattern that I felt like we can catch that 12 to 15 pounds on traditional stuff, and waxing some big crappie and some white bass, because we ran into some of that stuff around those shad schools. I went to look at a whole different part of the lake, bro, and this is Tuesday now, midday. Like, I've already got another half day of this shad thing kind of dialed. Like, okay, we can duplicate this because we're going to new areas. Finding this, catching 2.5, 3 pound fish mixed in with all these like little dinks. And then I was like, you know what? I just need to pick up a big bait and just see. Like, guys are not talking about there being any big fish or any of that like big bag stuff at all. But Dave was actually showing me some like old like tournament coverage from like 2012, 13 when guys are still fishing A-rigs and like FLW, BFL, stuff like that. And dude, they're catching like high 20 pound bags with like 7s and 8s. And I'm like, okay. So literally first cast with a 10-inch glide bait, I have a 7-8 pounder chase it to the freaking boat. And I'm like, yo, hold on, man. Like, what just happened? like literally the first cast, and I pulled that bait away from that fish because it was bluebird, middle of the day, like 1:30, so I could see this fish closing in on the bait. And I probably could have caught her. I'm pretty fairly confident I could have caught her, but because I could see her coming, I was able to pull the bait away from her, because the last thing you want to do is stick her in practice, right? Because your odds of catching her again, game time, are probably zilch to none.
Yeah, for sure.
And I proceed to continue throwing that big bait and a few others for the next hour and a half. And bro, I sucked up 3 more fish that I made visual contact with my eyes, that chased that bait to the rod tip, that I pulled it away from, and several that I could see on live scope that didn't come all the way up, because because I was pulling these things up off of some mud lines, like a la Castaic style. So the visibility was kind of mixed. And all the while, throughout practice, I was actually catching a good number of like really nice tournament fish for this like 2.5 to 3.5 pound fish, cranking down like a mid-size big bait. So I had that pattern going too. But between like 1:30 and 3 in the afternoon, I pulled the bait away from 4 fish that would have weighed 23, 24 pounds. And I'm like, this is crazy. And for these opens, you got 2.5 official days of practice. So you got all day Monday, all day Tuesday. You have to be off the water by noon on Wednesday, and then they do the whole registration and pairing and all that stuff. Like, bro, I felt so good. We didn't even go out Wednesday morning. I was like, no, we're just gonna reset. I'm gonna re-rig. I'm gonna go through, check all my knots. Swap rods, reels, lines, hooks, whatever it may be. So I took that time to just be as prepared as I could for day one. And I think I made the right decision, because I never really feel like throwing that big bait around in practice is going to do much good, because I feel like, man, they just want to eat it. And once you catch them,
that's how it is, man.
Yeah. So day one comes around, and I draw this dude named John from Michigan. And here's a funny little backstory, like hanging out with Carnell earlier this year. And we were talking about like the James River, because that's one of the events where I'm actually going to be competing against Mike Carnell, Brandon Polnick, and some of the other guys that are fishing the northern swing of the opens. And I was like, man, like I keep hearing murmurs of big fish being in that system. Including my buddy Steve Moy, he caught like a 9 1 year in practice on the James, and I'm like, well, dude, there's big fish. Like I keep hearing about these things, and Ikedelli was like, yeah, actually, 1 year my caught the big fish of the tournament. He threw a shaky head, a weedless shaky head on a dock, and ends up somehow snagging like an 8-12 in the top of the head. Well, it turns out it was that same. It was my co-angler. It was John. So like,
the dude that you got?
Yeah, like talk about a small world, man. And bro, like, I got my deck all laid out, right? Like, port side has got the real stuff, and starboard side's got all my, jerk baits, top water. We had some fish on spinner baits.
Conventional.
Yeah, and you should have just seen people's reactions. And mind you, all you guys that are watching this, like, there is video footage of all of this to come. So stay tuned. There's just a lot to digest. Still working on, like, how we're going to get it out there. But I've captured all of it. Like, literally all of it. And just watching people's reactions when they, like, see me tied up in the morning to the dock waiting for launch and looking at my deck like, is this so serious? Like, I've got like 6 or 7 rods on one side with mega baits. And my boy John is losing his mind. He's like, are you really going to fish those today? Like, I'm like, just you wait, homie. Just you wait.
Yeah.
So, so the game plan, right? Everybody, all these armchair quarterbacks got it figured out, right? Go catch your limit of 5. Then you go swing and upgrade. What these guys might not understand is like, man, if you go do that, you might miss your window to catch the ones. Like that could be first thing, that could be mid-morning. If I spend that time trying to just fill a limit, only to try to call them out anyway, that is to me an existential waste of time and very inefficient. Right. So I made the decision like, yo, I'm gonna go swing on those big ones I found. I've left them alone for a day and a half. I didn't stick any of them, and we roll up there, and I spent the first 3 hours of the tournament. I gave myself until 10 a.m. to try and stick at least one of those big fish. Because, dude, honestly, I knew, and it would have held true, if I had got just one of those fish, it would have helped me tremendously. Tremendously, let alone 4 or 5 of them. And, bro, before 10 o'clock, I missed 4 fish that I watched eat that bait. 10-inch glide bait. Watched them eat, and they're not giants, mind you. Look, dude, these are 3 to low 4-pound class fish, okay? But do the math. I weighed in 12 pounds and change on day 1. I had one good one that I caught midday on that crankdown bait. 4-1 is what that fish weighed. And if I had got those other 4 fish, gosh, man, and called out those 4 other fish that I caught on jerk baits and topwater.
Yeah, the smaller ones.
I would have had 16, 17 pounds. I had the bites I needed to lead day 1. But as you know, when you got like 3 to 4 pound fish trying to eat that really big bait, like they got to eat it almost perfectly. And on top of that, like the way they were approaching it and like biting it was just kind of off. Like fishing was already kind of slumpy and weird. Guys are like experiencing fish not behaving super aggressively on traditional stuff. Man, I felt like I fished as clean as I could. You know, I stuck to my mechanics. I didn't swing on those fish. Normally they just hook themselves. And I literally never...
you just let them eat it.
Yeah, I never felt my rod load up on any of those 4 bites. And I felt them all bite it. And watched them all. I watched them all. Boom, like, come on. Like...
Man, dude.
It was...
Do you feel like they were they as aggressive as they were in practice? Or was it like did they approach the bait completely different?
No, like I didn't really see them until the moment of strike on day 1. And I could see like, oh, that's a 3-pounder. But like, bro, 3-pounders were gold.
I mean, that's what it seemed definitely with looking at the weight. Yeah.
The leader on day 2 going into top 10 fish off for day 3 had a 3-pound, less than 3-pound average. The leader.
Yeah.
So I was on the right grade of fish. And to me, that really big bait that nobody else was throwing was my biggest advantage to close that gap and appeal to those bigger fish. Because here's the thing. If you were in the right area, on the right schools, catching fish wasn't a problem. Steve Moy caught like 40 fish one day. Weighed like 8 pounds. So you couldn't just go out there and catch a bunch of them hoping to stumble on those 2s and 3s. Dude, there were a lot of guys.
Right.
There were a lot of guys that went through a ton of fish and were weighing 6 to 8 pound limits. So I'm good with my decision. It just wasn't meant to be on day 1, man. But still, even then, like I was literally one of my fish out of the lead after the first day. Just one. One of those fish. That's all it was. It was less than 4 pounds, I think, or around 4 pounds. And going into day 2, get this, I actually don't get a co-angler for day 2, so I'm solo dolo on the Dream Machine. So
the whole day, huh?
Yeah, and I'm hyper-focused, like hyper-focused. And I get out there, man, I start in the same big bay, and I get my first bite on the big bait, and it sticks just like it's supposed to, and I get that fish in the boat. It's my biggest fish of the day, it's like a 2 3/4. But I'm good because, like I'm telling you, these are gold. These fish are money.
Yeah.
They are literal money in this tournament. And I noticed when I caught this dink, like in most cases, you and I be laughing at this fool, like what the hell, like bro, like it's 14 inches long. What are you thinking? I could see on my live scope that there was a small wolf pack of fish. So throw them in the well, blah blah blah. Talk to the camera a little bit, fire it right back out on this point, bro. And this is literally the very next cast, and I'm watching my bait come into view, and I'm in like 25 feet of water. It's off of like a sheer bluff wall. So this fish comes from straight up underneath the bait, like a white shark on a seal, and tries to eat this glide bait. And I'm telling you, on the low side, she was like 4.5, like probably 5.5, like a good one, and just does not get the hooks. And my experience with fish, I try to eat my glide baits in that fashion from that angle of attack. I can almost never get hooks into them. I've missed monsters at home that have done that to me. And man, there's nothing I could do about that. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But it's early. It's literally like 30 minutes into fishing on day 2. So I'm like, dude, it's all good. Like, they're gonna bite today. Because like they were off yesterday. They can't be off a second day in a row. Bro, I made that milk run where I pulled all those fish 6 or 7 different times. Like trolling motor on high in between, and dude, wait till you get on this new rig, bro. It is insane. 4 miles an hour on that trolling motor. Like I don't even have to like pull the trolling motor up, get in the seat, fire up the big motor just to idle across. Literally, that would take more time than me just putting that thing on high and then cutting across my next. Yeah. So I was hyper efficient, bro. I never saw another fish on the big bait. So I had to go back to that area and fill my limit. I caught 4 more fish on the jerkbait in pretty short fashion, and that allowed me to go back and try and swing again with the big bait, man.
Yeah. At a later time.
Yeah. But it didn't come together. Like those big ones just didn't bite. That window was first thing in the morning. And I had my shot. Had my shot, man. It's tough because I know how big those fish were. I know what guys weighed to finish in the top 10 to be able to fish for the win on Saturday. And I literally got the bites I needed. And I just didn't get the fish. But, bro, this is the second tournament in a row where a big bait has come into play.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like I'm coming in here like trying to force feed it to them. Like I know when not to throw that.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. I had so much fun, man, just because of the potential that I saw, that I unlocked just by going out there and having a mind of my own and just trying different crap. I mean, it's honestly no different than all that stuff that we were doing when we relinked, 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way. Like just starting to do a little bit of the bigger stuff, and it's at first it's like intimidating, and then when you start, dude, it feels the same. It's on a obviously on a higher scale, but it does feel the same. Everything's moving and operating the same exact way. You're still doing the same exact things, So, but it's just like looking at what you're doing, bro. It's just like, dude, like this dude is really doing the whole thing, man. It's just like, it's such a, it just seems so out of reach to a lot of us that, you know what I mean? Just a lot of the homies, man. It's just so out of reach. So to see you actually really knowing somebody close, you know what I mean? Not just kind of knowing of somebody or, oh yeah, I talked to that dude a couple of times. I've seen him here and there in the water. He's fishing, But really knowing somebody actually doing it, dude, it's just like, freaking.
Gotta go for
It's
it.
insane, bro. Like, a couple of the cats local were asking me, like, you know, like, dude, what the hell are you gonna fish? I'm like, bro, he's fishing all 9. They're like, all 9? Like, yeah, this fool's fishing all 9, dude. Like, crazy, man. I just like, watching it just. And you only see bits and pieces from watching it, but like you're there and experiencing it. Like it's gotta be crazy, man. It's gotta be crazy.
It's surreal,
just
man.
Everything that's happening,
Yeah, it's been a hell of an experience so far. I've got 7 events left, and then I'm probably gonna do some FLW Toyota Series Northerns too, because I've got overlapping bodies of water for my Northern Opens. So that's another excuse for me to spend more time on those fisheries, get more dialed in. Because, like, dude, like, Harris Chain, I'd never been there before. Douglas Lake, I'd never been there before. And, homie, we were right there. Like, we got those fish to eat. Man, don't let me spend some time on these places.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun trying to figure out how to catch them, especially in new ways. And it's just the beginning. Like literally, like next week, already this weekend, I got to start practicing for Pickwick. And that's the first tournament of the Central Division, I believe. So you got dudes that I haven't even seen yet because they're not fishing the Southerns, right? They're not
fishing the Southerns, right?
Guys only fish the Centrals, or guys only fish the Northerns. So you're going to get a whole different set of hammers and having to compete against those guys. But here's the point that I want to make is, like, especially after these first 2 events, and especially this last one, I am definitely competing against those fish and not the field. Like, nobody affected.
That's how you gotta take it, man.
I got the bites I needed. I lost to those fish. Those punk ass fish got my ass.
Yeah. That's how you gotta look at it too, man.
Because that's all.
At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm telling you, they're young cats, like up and comers, like this kid named Kaz Anderson. That's a local kid. He's 18 years old. Hammer. Watched this kid catch an 11-pounder skipping a boat dock on one of these lakes here a few weeks ago. And it's easy because to see that some of these guys get spun out, man. Like all the same like mind games that we played back in the tournament stuff at home. These dudes are doing it to each other on this level. The BS dock talk, the false leads, all of it, man. It's so funny.
And that's honestly like another advantage for you, man. It's like just coming in fresh. You know what I mean? Just coming in fresh, dude. Like not being a part of that whole like clicky or any of that going on. Like you just a fresh new soul coming in, like with your own mind state of breaking down the water yourself and doing what you do, not what so and so was doing. So now you're trying it. Like, dude, like you on your own tangent right now.
Yeah, man. It's been a lot of fun. It's been cool. You should have seen John just all day long, my co-angler on day 1. He was just mind blown. And my poor dude, like I called a few times and he couldn't even get his limit. Like fishing was not easy, and he's a good angler, man. And he went away from that experience. Like I can't believe I just got my butt kicked by giant baits. Like bro, he was throwing like all the Gucci Japanese soft bait stuff. Like he was just trying to catch one. And he couldn't catch it.
Just trying to get bit. He was just trying to get bit.
And he's watching these fish trying to eat a 10-inch bait. Like, what the heck? Yeah. So, yeah, it's been rad, man.
I'm sure he's gonna walk away. Like, even though he may have not got bit, but the experience is something great that's gonna grow on him. For sure.
Yeah.
The experience.
I think now that guys going to start kind of getting wind of like how close we've been in 2 tournaments already. Like hopefully we can start playing some mind games and having some fun with these dudes. Oh man.
Oh, it's only, and the thing is, it's early, dude. So, like, that wave of, like, where you are, it's a lot colder, so it's warming up a little more down, down there. So, dude, it's only a matter of time, bro, that it's going to fire off for you. It's only a matter of time.
Man, it's crazy. Like, this is definitely a sport of longevity and, like, just a war of attrition against those fish. Look at that last Pickwick tournament that the elites were fishing.
Right.
I mean, Bill Owen is a hammer, like, undeniably, right?
Yeah.
He's been fishing professional for almost 2 decades.
Forever.
Got his first win.
Got his first win, man. It was dope.
That's crazy, right? So to see someone that accomplished and that well respected and skilled to take that long to get his first win, like, it just shows like how hard it is to win at this level and above.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
I got to kind of sniff, a little bit of it, and it's got me fired up. I'm hungry. I just got to stop sucking. Like, damn, if I could just suck a little bit less. 5 bites. I was 5 bites away from a top 10 in fishing for a win.
And but you all, too, man. It's a lot has to do with timing, man. It's timing, dude. Like, it's gonna happen. It's just you just gotta keep at it, keep putting the time in, like everyone else does, dude. Like, that's all it is. Like, give you a little taste of it, and you like, oh, and then it's like, no, not yet. Not your time. Not yet.
Yeah, it's funny because there was definitely a long stretch where I could have cared less about competing again and fishing competitively. But, dude, I've been having so much freaking fun. Like, I was just going through some of the footage, just trying to, mark some of the key moments and stuff. And, like, I'm, like, dive bombing on fish on the deck because, like, one of my keepers almost flipped out of the boat. And I'm just, like, laughing like a little kid, man. Like, it's crazy to be able to
have fun, man.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys freaking pony up next year and come freaking do some of this, man. Like,
yeah, dude. At least, something Texas wise, or maybe not as far down as Georgia. I mean, I would probably do Georgia too, just because I got family.
Yeah.
Family there, so I could see that maybe happening. Just do a few, but I don't know, man. It's intimidating, bro. It really is.
Hey, you know what though? Like, there was actually quite a bit of representation from California. So big ups to all the West Coasters. One of the top 10 guys was from San Diego. He was rocking a Save on Tackle hat. Caught a big smallmouth. Yeah, man. And they're the homie Dung, like he was out there fishing. There's probably like half a dozen Californians out there, like, doing the damn thing on both sides. I think on the pro and the co-angler side. Dave flew in. That's his second.
Yeah, that was dope, dude. Shout out to Dave for that one, bro. Like, man, and then he put it down, bro. Dave was
top 12 first tournament.
Yeah. Is he gonna do any more?
Oh yeah, he's doing all the southerns. He might cherry pick, a central or northern. So he's having way too much fun to not want to do more.
Yeah.
And it's easy. He just flies in, literally just jumps on my boat for official practice, and we go figure out how to catch some fish. And he had his shots to do well in this tournament. He was throwing a mid-sized bait that I was telling you that we were cranking down, and he got one really good one that would have helped him because. Thing with the co-anglers, they only have to catch 3. So
3 fish, huh?
Yeah, it's a 3 fish limit for the co's. So that changes the dynamic and the strategy, and it makes it tough.
For sure.
Yeah, especially on a lake where the weights are so close. I mean, you could see like a pound difference is like 50 places. So every ounce literally mattered on this fishery. So we'll see how it all plays out, man. Pickwick's got big smallies, some good largemouth, and I know the elite boys, like some of them were waxing them on pretty good sized paddle tail swim baits, so they'll eat a big bait.
Yeah.
But even if they don't, we can catch them however the hell we got to catch them.
Yep, that's true, man. So what, mindset for that one, strategy, you pretty much got it? What you gonna do?
No idea what I'm gonna do. But I try to do my best not to create any preconceived scenarios in my head that may never exist. Right, it goes back to it goes back to like all the old school days of me going to new lakes fishing with the bass contenders, club tournament stuff. Right, like you hear about Lake Lopez or Lake Otay or some other place I'd never been, and you build up what you think this lake's gonna be in your head, and you spend all night rigging all your rods and all your tackle, and then you show up and the water is completely different color. It's like, oh, this
everything.
Is nothing.
You start cutting everything off.
Yeah, man. So it literally, I don't pre-rig anything. Everything is in the rod locker. We go launch. I don't even look at a map until I get to the launch ramp and pull up my topo map on the Garmin's. And okay, well, same thing I've been doing for the last 10, 15 years. Just start eliminating water. I mean, you've seen it. Like when we travel through the country, shooting for breaking bass in all these new lakes. It's the same exercise. You just got to, number one, figure out where they live. Number two, figure out how to catch them.
What they eat. Yeah. What they're eating.
Ultimately that simple. Figuring out all the subtle like key points in there, that's the hard part. Because even like trying to catch those fish on jerk baits and topwater, like there were only a certain couple baits that I could catch them on. Even in the same lure style. Like that Wagasaki color was the color for me this past week. And then, Dave is catching them on another jerk bait, and I didn't have anything close to it, nor that actual jerk bait, so I literally had to go through the process of elimination and find something that they would eat as well, and luckily I did, because, as John saw, man, it mattered. Like, the subtle difference.
That's the thing that's just so crazy, man. It comes down to something that small, and if you can't decipher that,
you're lost.
You're lost. Forget it, man, Something that small, and you have to be able to go through that process, like you said, and just, it's all about that puzzle, man. Yeah. Putting those pieces together.
It'll humble you so quick. You'll be like in the back of Elizabeth at Castaic, and there's fish busting all around you. And you cannot look at anything you are throwing at them.
No.
Make you feel stupid.
Man. That's crazy, man. That's just so dope, though. But, for us, it's our waters are so small, man, And, the grand scheme of things, where you're, the bodies of water that you're fishing is just, dude, like you said, when we traveled, it was just bro, we had, a day. We had 4 hours.
4 hours.
We had 4 hours, so, in 4 days, you can't cover so many bodies of water,
I literally didn't even look at, 2/3 of the lake.
Yeah.
I didn't. Didn't have time.
That's tough, man.
Yeah. So, that's one disadvantage that the local guys kind of have over the travel guys, right? They know where all the historic areas are. But it's also a disadvantage if you stick to them too much and fish in the past too much.
Yeah, that's the stuff that a lot of people are hitting regardless, so. How much time do you have in between events?
Man, Well, April was originally supposed to be every other week, but since Smith Lake got postponed, I had Douglas last week, Pickwick next week. 2 weeks from that, I've got James River. And all the while, we're shooting a high production series for Black Rifle Coffee Company. Shout out to Black Rifle. So I just saw the first cut of episode 1, fishing in Florida with our man BP and Roland Martin, the legend himself, and it came out dope as hell. So we've got a lot on our plate. It's been go. Still trying to do all this Big Bass Dream stuff. Trying to do everything that I've been doing, plus the Opens, plus the Black Rifle, plus this Toyota series that we're trying to work out with MLF and this other team. Plus we're doing Das Boat Season 3. It's crazy.
That's real crazy, man, because you got guys that only thing they have going on are these Opens. Right. And that's all they're focusing on, you know?
Right. Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, it's been cool though. Like I like the pace. It's just gnarly that we're almost into May, and I felt like I just don't know where time went in 2021. Like I feel like I just picked up the new Dream Machine and left Cali, and here we are, almost at the James River event, which back in December seems so far away.
So far away, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll be home soon for a week and a half or so. So looking forward to doing the Big Bass Streams meet on Havasu. Second annual.
Got the spot waiting already, man. Everybody's just hitting me up. Is he gonna make it down? Is he gonna make it down? Okay. So, he says he is, man. So are you gonna fly in, or what do you think you're gonna do?
Yeah. We're gonna, after James River, we're shooting like another episode for Black Rifle Coffee, for either like giant stripers, or giant blue cats, or muskies, or something like that. And then we're gonna beeline straight to Jersey. I'm gonna dump my truck and boat at Ike and Ellie's house, and then we're gonna fly home from Philly.
Cool.
Yeah. So it'd be good to be home, man. It'd be good to see In-N-Out. It'd be good to see all the different ethnic foods. It'd be good to have internet connectivity. It'll be good. It'll be good to be home.
Hey, maybe we can get some live Skypes in and have some interaction.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Straight up.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll stay tuned. I think we can check in after each event. Like this is cool. We
that'd be dope, dude. Get a little recap.
Yeah, we should have done it for Harris Chain.
Yeah.
Shoot, we still can, honestly.
I know, right?
Oh, that's still fresh in my head. Like, that's a cool fishery. Yeah, we'll do that on a different episode.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many bodies of water, and like, yeah, I definitely want to hear about that one.
Yeah, man, that was wild. And they ate the big bait in the tournament. I weighed 3 of my keepers on day 1 on a big bait.
Yeah, you 15 pounds first day, huh? Yeah, I remember.
15, 10, 12 or something.
A little over 15.
I was sitting in 20th. I didn't even fish my best areas on day 1, so I thought I was coming in swinging on day 2. But we'll save the details for that one later. But I appreciate everybody watching here on YouTube, and I know there's no action involved here, but the story is a special one, and just know that I did shoot everything that happened. So you will see those 4 bites. You will see that 5-pounder come up and miss. You will see me jumping on live fish grenades on the deck. You will see me grinning ear to ear, and hopefully you guys can engage with this experience through that content when it comes out. Because I know for a lot of people, like it seems far-reached and far-fetched, but tell me, man, if I can do it from where we came from, man, anybody can.
Man. That's real. Yeah. Hey, it's all hard work, man. Hard work and dedication, bro. That's what it takes. that's what it takes, though. You know, and you know, and I know, not everybody has that, bro. Don't have that work ethic.
Very few people do. I'll go out there and say it.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But yep. It's gonna be good. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Subscribe to the Big Bass Dreams channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to Meat Eater. We are going to be working with them on some more fishing related content in the future. Check out all the Black Rifle Coffee stuff. We've got a whole high production series coming to their free range American platforms, adventure themed, and stay tuned, man. It's only event number 2 out of the 9 opens. Yeah. And then I got a potential. A lot to come. Yeah, and then I got another potential 3 FLW Toyota series with a chance to make the fish off for that. So that's a whole nother series. Lots of content on all the channels, all the platforms. The Patreon platform has been pumping. If you guys want to see the details, I'm actually going to do a summary video on Patreon talking about the exact lures and the key things like hooks and retrieve and cadence and color selection and the scenarios and all those important minor details that we were talking about that you could miss that made a difference in me catching these fish or not in the highest platform and stage that I've ever fished in. Go to Patreon for that information, because the guys that support me directly through that platform, they get all the business, man. So appreciate all you guys. Carnell, homie, I appreciate you, man.
Hey,
yeah, man. When are we gonna get with D-Rock and finish this music project? Because everybody hits me up. Yo, where can I get this track? Where can I get that track? It's like, hold your horses. The boys are working on something. I need to get everybody together.
It's funny that you said that, because me and D-Rock were chopping it today, so. Yeah, we're chopping it today, so some things are getting dialed in, man. It's about to happen.
Well, we might have to knock that out at Havasu this time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be a great time, too, to do it.
Word. All right, brother. Until next time, man. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
For sure, man. Yo, peace out, bro.
You a keyboard pirate, my man, that's hella my track. Instrument you catch fish, get him in the net quick, cast for another stick. That real deal, raw uncut, still chasing PBs, cause it's never enough. My track. Instrument you catch fish, get him in the net quick, cash for another stick. That real deal, raw uncut, still chasing PBs, cause it's never enough.
Medium light, graphite for the subtlest bites. Some bright blue skies, not a cloud in sight. It's dynamite when I drop, and the school ignites, pinning them down on